From Louisiana's news channel, this is 9 News at 10.
If you block the roadway, you will be arrested.
A city on edge.
That's how you communicate to a crowd, you know?
Just remain peaceful, remain positive, remain with an open mind, and this will turn out just the way God wants it to turn out.
A weekend of tense, emotional protests after Baton Rouge's deadly police shooting. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Vowell. Tonight, those protests swelled onto Government Street near the WAFB studios as people gathered near the interstate. Police with guns drawn lined the street to try and restore order. Here's what the chaos looked like a few hours ago. Here's a live look at the scene now. Scotty Hunter is live with an update on the situation right now.
Yeah, Liz, police were taken by surprise tonight as a large group of protesters took over downtown Baton Rouge. They made their way down Government Street, ending here at East Boulevard and France Street. Police say when the group refused to leave, they were forced to take action. A demonstrator tosses a trash can at approaching SWAT teams just blocks off Government Street. It's the largest showing of police force we've seen yet in the 6-day-long protest against the deadly police shooting in Baton Rouge. Police made multiple arrests. Police feared the protesters were trying to walk onto the interstate to block traffic. After pushing them away from there, officers with the Sheriff's Office, BRPD, and state police allowed the demonstration to continue for a while along and near Government Street. But after several requests to clear out, officers moved in.
As soon as we started moving through, the vast majority of those moved on. The few that didn't, we actually had to make some arrests.
State Police Colonel Mike Edmondson says he does not believe the demonstrators were connected to a march to the state capitol earlier in the day.
This seems to be a completely different group. I think what we saw earlier with the Capitol and certainly yesterday, you saw that they walked down the street. We were able to block streets for them. We escorted them. Those that want to do so peacefully, we stay with them. We escort them, we get them to a location, allow them to protest, and then they go home. This group was not about that.
With the police, we are against police brutality. So going against police is inaccurate.
Several in the crowd were horrified by what they witnessed as officers moved in on the group, but Edmondson believes officers were fair.
They certainly had every opportunity here. We had a lot of phone calls from people in the area who were saying, why are you letting them in people's yards? Why are you letting them blocking roads and stuff like that? Plenty of time, and then we need to clear the area.
Tonight, new numbers in from the Baton Rouge Police Department. We now know 48 people were arrested in connection to that incident. That's the latest here downtown. I'm Scotty Hunter, WAFB 9 News. Liz?
Okay, thanks so much, Scotty. We'll check in with you a little bit later. Meanwhile, it's a similar scene in Memphis tonight where protesters actually succeeded in stopping traffic on the Interstate 40 in Tennessee. Black Lives Matter Memphis began a protest downtown around 6. Our sister station there reports the protest was originally headed to the National Civil Rights Museum in downtown, but the group changed routes, jumped a barrier, and shut down the bridge. Hours before the protest began on Government Street, Governor John Bel Edwards talked security with reporters, downplaying concerns about outside protest inciting violence. Kevin Fry was at the press conference this afternoon and joins us now with more. Kevin.
Hey there, Liz. The governor praised both the protesters and police alike, thanking them for keeping the peace so far, but calling for continued focus on nonviolence.
I am proud that the vast majority of the protesters are engaging in a way that is lawful and nonviolent.
High praise from Governor John Bel Edwards for most protesters this weekend.
If they're waiting until they have confirmation from the governor that their voice has been heard, I want to give that confirmation right now.
The governor saying people from outside of Baton Rouge may be to blame for any increased antagonism.
I'm not suggesting that there wouldn't be anger otherwise. I just know that the situation is a little more difficult because of the presence of folks who are not from our community, and I believe who have motives for being here that are inconsistent with those of most of the folks in Baton Rouge.
From the law enforcement side, the governor said he believes officers are handling the protests appropriately, that they are not acting aggressively. Still, many have expressed concerns over police tactics, especially after videos like this began circulating online. This one showing a female Baton Rouge police officer pointing her gun at protesters Saturday evening near Airline Highway. BRPD Chief Carl Dabadie.
My officers are human, and they're tired, they're scared. There are things that happen on those lines, and when those things happen, that's the job of the supervisor who is on the scene. Immediately addressed that, took that, and then that is being addressed by us also.
Edwards said he hopes the protests will spark a long-term conversation about reform to policing practices.
We're going to have to reevaluate where we are in the way that we recruit and train officers, with the way we retrain them.
Unclear at this time if there will be any additional press conferences in coming days. Liz?
Thanks so much, Kevin. In a week filled with heartbreak, local churches spread their message of joy and coming together. As you can see, a lively crowd filled the Glory Land Baptist Church on Greenwell Springs Road tonight for a vigil. They, like many other churches, say violence is not the answer. And what played out on Government Street is in sharp contrast to a civil rights march from Wesley United Methodist Church on Government Street to the steps of the state capitol earlier this afternoon. In that rally, teens led the crowd with their messages of hope and change. Andre Mora reports.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now!
Make no mistake, the prevailing reason for this epic march and rally to give purpose to Alton Sterling's death, to make sure such a loss is not repeated.
No racism, no peace.
Those delivering the message, kids, youth, passionate, focused, determined.
This is youth-led. This was started by the youth, for the youth to protest what's going on. We want to give our children a voice.
Have a voice, all right.
Don't shoot.
They have a plan, they say. It involves being responsible, being a success. They say they won't need excuses because they're smart and they're strong.
We stand here today because we refuse to let this happen to any of us. We will unify the community before we sit here and let another senseless killing happen. And we will stay here until justice is served.
And the chant, youth-led, they say, isn't a catchy phrase. They say businesses with staying power have to be developed among young blacks. Getting a good education is a given, they say, and so is being blind to color and unimportant differences.
Everybody's out here, black, white, Latinos, everybody. It's not one type of person. We're all people. We're all coming together for one cause. That's the goal. All is to unify and to be one people and to show that we're going to stand as one voice. It doesn't matter if you're big, tall, small, red, brown, green. We're all one people, and we're going to get something accomplished today to show that we can unify in this tragic situation.
Because that's marching.
That was Andre Mora reporting. Councilwoman Tara Wicker tonight told Andre the kids were being fed afterwards inside the church at Wesley United Methodist, proud of their moment before thousands when the ruckus on Government Street actually began. And in the wake of so much tragedy throughout the nation, other area churches gathered in prayer to try and heal. At the Shiloh Baptist Church in Baton Rouge, parishioners use music as a way to express their grief. Carl George says the church has a very special meaning to him during trying times.
Oftentimes, I think sometimes we dwell on just what's happening in the now. The message reminds us that, prayer is our key.
We're not living the real meaning of why Jesus Christ was born and ultimately died for us.
Across town at the St. Joseph's Cathedral, parishioners focused on unity. They're hoping, like so many, that the protests remain peaceful and that people will come together. We, of course, are continuing to stay on top of this unfolding situation. We'll have a little more later in the newscast. You can also find a comprehensive look at everything that's happened so far on WAFB.com. Count on Channel 9 to bring you the latest details as soon as we get them.